Want to bring in former Speaker of the House and former presidential candidate Newt Gingrich. Mr. Speaker, always a pleasure. Welcome.
Well, it's good to be with you.
A lot of people, well, a lot of the candidates are sort of doubling down now in Michigan. Is that the right call?
Oh, I think so. I think with the very close race over the weekend where Ted Cruz had two big wins and frankly kept Trump to two very narrow wins, I think everybody's got to look and see that Trump has been losing the late deciders. So you gamble in Michigan. It's a very important gamble, particularly for Kasich. And if he can pull it off, it puts him in a totally different game. At the same time, it's really important for Trump because he's got to regain this momentum of being the front runner, which right now I think has some question marks around it. So Michigan's a big deal. There are two caucuses and another primary tomorrow. So all of that coming together, it'll be very educational leading up to really the big casino, which is Florida and Ohio next Tuesday, and that will really define this race. So does it make any sense for Marco Rubio and John Kasich to step aside now? I mean, they want to, yeah, no way, right? So they have to go through Ohio and Florida and see what happens. You know, and you have to ask yourself, what are people thinking about? Rubio, I think, now maybe I'm wrong, maybe Cruz has surged so much that he can get past Rubio, but Rubio, you would think, is the one person who might stop Trump in Florida. We know Kasich is the only person who could stop Trump in Ohio. If they both dropped out today and Trump won Ohio and Florida with their winner-take-all requirement, he'd be the nominee. I mean, you couldn't build the momentum to stop him. So anybody who wants to stop Trump has to hope that those two states will go for the other candidate. Trump, of course, has to hope that he can take at least one, if not both of them. He really wants Florida more than Ohio because it's the chance to knock Rubio out of the race, and it has more delegates. So the winner-take-all in Florida is going to get a big bunch of delegates.
Newt, with the solid showing for Cruz over the weekend, not that surprising, closed contest, Republicans only, and also 3 caucuses versus 1 primary. But you point to Trump not being strong with late deciders, and we saw that in Louisiana once again. Do you think it's because of the debate and what has happened in just less than a week in terms of Trump's performance?
I think it's the debate, and I think it's the campaign style. Trump has been extraordinary. I've never seen anything like it as an insurgent, as the guy who's the brand new challenger. He has built a level of momentum you have to respect. He is the front runner, but he hasn't converted. Now that he's got everybody's attention, he hasn't shifted towards the style of a front runner. And the debate the other night did not help him at all. And frankly, it hurt Rubio badly. And so the big winner the other night were Kasich, who once again avoided any kind of fight and said, look, I'm going to be positive, I'm going to be happy, let these guys be in a mud bath. And Cruz, who's a very, very good debater, they came out of that strengthened. Rubio came out of it badly damaged. Trump came out of it damaged some. But I do think if you were Donald Trump, you'd be worried about this pattern where the late deciders, and you really saw it in Louisiana, where the difference between the absentee vote, heavy for Trump, and the actual deciders on the day of the election, which was a very slight advantage to Cruz, that was a big shift and something that Trump has got to focus on.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. This is Morgan. One of the reasons that I have always loved your political career and seeing you run for president last cycle is you've been one of the most substantive people with real policies and real ideas in the Republican Party. And I think one of the main things, and I'd love to know your take on this, I think one of the main things that Cruz and Rubio and others have done wrong in going after Trump is whenever they're not speaking to his voters about inequality, about jobs that have left, about how to get ahead in America again. And I think it's almost a mistake for them to go after Trump personally, as opposed to speaking to him and saying, here's the Republican message, the conservative message on inequality. Do you have a message for the Republican Party on those key economic issues?
You mean as opposed to Trump? Well, yeah, let me say, first of all, that Speaker Paul Ryan, who just recently did an entire question-and-answer session at CPAC on poverty in America, who has probably done more creative thinking than any other modern Republican leader on this whole issue, I think is going to provide a very bold agenda this spring, and I think is going to provide a great deal of the substance for what we have to do. first thing, frankly, we should do is recognize that poverty is not. It's not a series of 100 little vertical bureaucracies. Poverty comes across your whole life. It affects you with safety. It affects you with education. It affects you with jobs. It affects the quality of your family life. And we need to bring together all these various federal bureaucracies, get down to a one-service capability to help people get from poverty into a productive future. And part of the difference is the Democrats create a safety net which keeps you down there. We need to figure out some way to create a springboard that helps you rise from poverty.